Okay, everyone, you've been waiting for so long, but it's finally here. Welcome to the Pasadena Talks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Bacchus. Today, Jamal will not be with us. He's still on assignment, so I'll be doing everything by myself, which is irritating because this show is meant for two people to be on because I'm not an engineer. So right today, I'm going to be doing the engineering portion of it. And, Karen says you can support her by sending stars. Stars help her to earn more money. She's already put the comment up there. I haven't even brought her on the show yet. So she can tell she's all about where the money at because she does films. So I'm not mad at you for putting it out there. So handle your business, center stars. She's actually on this is broadcasting to my personal page, my Facebook page on Brian on Facebook, the actual fan page, the business page. Going to the Greenwood Avenue project. It's going to Karen's page. So everybody say hi to Karen because it's on there. And it's also going to two YouTube spots, mine and Pasadena Talks, and broadcasting live on Instagram. So, without further ado, we're going to bring to you the person who I co-executive produced the movie that we're going to be checking out next Thursday, February 27th, in Monrovia at the Look Theater. We're going to be putting a ticket link up there for you all to go and get your tickets. And please come support the show. So we're not going to be doing any announcements today because I'm dedicating this Wednesday and next Wednesday to the Black Street Film Greenwood Avenue project. And basically the movie is going to show the following day, that Thursday. So I'll probably be on location that Thursday with the cast going live on our 10 o'clock podcast. And then after that, no more shameless plugs from me. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on, and Tony, I'm still in this from your book, the illustrious, the incomparable, the woman who never sleeps, never quits, never stops. Unless her husband says, come to bed, honey, it's time for you to take some rest. So shout out to Pete Reese, baby. What's happening? We bring to you Karen Reese. Woohoo! Yeah, watch out. You see, I'm trying to do all this, trying to make it happen, trying to,
Oh my goodness.
It's hard to be it's hard out here for a pimp, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it last forever, It's kind of a problem out here. People get on my nerves. I'm too good for these people, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But anyway, Karen is the executive producer of Greenwood Avenue Project. We premiered it in Tulsa back in 22. We're premiering it next Thursday, the 27th, on in a theater. We did it in a theater before. And Karen, I just want you to, I know Terry was on here last week, and we're dedicating these next Wednesdays to the movie. Tell us how you and Terry linked up, because that's my cousin. He didn't even call me first. He called you. He knew he's like, I'm gonna go around this fool. I'm gonna get somebody else to talk to him about it. But anyway, go ahead. Tell us how it worked out for you.
First of all, Brian, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to come on your platform to share the vision about Greenwood Avenue Project. Thank you. And so, just another plug. Me staying up all night, I think I got it from you. I met you probably about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I talk to you, you keep talking and talking. We talk through the night about all the wisdom and knowledge you have about social media and how to do your page. And it rubbed off on me. Okay.
I'm good. I'm glad. But now Pete don't like that. He probably like, man, where this dude come from? He got my wife attention more than me.
right. And teaching her stuff and got her going down these rabbit holes and she doing all
Hey,
this kind of stuff. But I believe it was a divine connection for us to meet. And I just thank God for meeting you and all the wisdom and knowledge that you have poured into me, doing my shenanigan of being a serial entrepreneur and starting all these businesses and stuff. And
did
you
I,
share
did
a
I, did
lot of
I
wisdom.
give you that virus? That
Yeah, you
start a
gave
new
me the
business
virus.
virus?
Yes, you did. Only thing is, we've been waiting for 7 years for them to start making money. So this is the year 2025. Okay, it's been
Oh yeah.
years. This is the year for those businesses to turn into profitable business, and I just thank God for it. But how I met Terry, I'm here in DeSoto, the great DeSoto, Texas. I am a community person. I love my community. I support and brag about my community. And same way with you. That's the reason why
Mhm.
you have this podcast about Pasadena. You're sharing your community, and that is so important. And so here in DeSoto, we are a predominantly Black community. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I want to be a part of something, building something great. And as a part of that, I became, I'm a sports mom, sports fan, and I was involved in my kids' sports journey, which all parents supposed to do. And
Right.
after, just because I was involved, I saw where all the kids were going. They were going, we produce a lot of kids getting scholarships to go off to college. And I just wanted to share that story about our kids in sports because at one point we had 7 players who were eligible for the draft, but they all graduated college. And I'm like, okay, that's a good example that we want our kids to have, that okay, you can play sports, you can love
Exactly.
the sport, but finish your task, and that is getting your degree. And so I just took that passion from my community, passion about sports, and I said, okay, I want to document this. And so
Right.
I started a documentary called Path to the Draft, 7 DeSoto players, because I wanted to highlight our community and I wanted to highlight our kids who were doing something great. And so Terry he was a friend of one of the 7 players. And so we would go to the game together because one of the players played at Baylor. And so they would
Mhm.
bless me and Terry to go to the game. And that's how we met Terry. So we became Facebook friends, and he saw what I was doing in the community, and he sent me a message and he said, why don't you come tell the story about Black Wall Street? And I said, what's that? uh,
Mhm.
I didn't know what it was. And so later on, my high school friend, she said, Karen, you must have been asleep in class when they was talking. I said, I must have been, because I didn't know nothing about Black Wall Street. And he said, why don't you come do our documentary? And so at that time, I didn't look at myself as a filmmaker. I just looked at myself as someone that wanted to record good information about their community and just had the
Right.
passion for it. I didn't go to school for it, no training or nothing. I just, like, my son-in-law, he was a videographer. And so we just started recording interviews. And I probably recorded over 100 interviews for that Path to the Draft, because I'm like, everybody's story is valuable. I want to
Mhm.
hear everybody's story. And so from that, Terry invited me down to Tulsa, and I was just praying. I said, God, I'm gonna walk in whatever He say. And when I got down there, Terry, when he started introducing me and my husband. We both went down there. He said, "These are the filmmakers. They're gonna make our documentary." And I was just like, okay, wow,
It's like, all right,
okay.
sure.
Right. And so that's the beginning of the journey. Being an independent filmmaker, you have to raise your money. And that part I didn't know about. And so we would do campaigns and things like that. But that's the journey of meeting Terry and starting Greenwood Avenue Project. And I just thank that community because they welcomed me in, welcomed me being able to come in and record their story. And the thing about Greenwood Avenue Project, there was a lot of people that were doing the documentary around that time because it was it was starting up to be the 100 year, and I was going against people like Russell Westbrook and LeBron James. You know, they were all doing documentaries, and so of course they had the money to do it, and they could go and, you know, because their name, you know, be able to get some of the key people. And so
but they didn't have Terry Backus though.
they didn't have Terry Backus, right? And so he, you know, Terry brought the people in and he wanted to tell a different story. He wanted to tell the street side of Greenwood, not all the glam of it. He wanted to tell a different story. He wants to tell about after it was destroyed. And so my thing is, you know, if we had all that stuff going on, what happened to it? You know, what caused it to fail? And so that's the point of view that we took with the documentary, talking about after it burned, how did it fall again? Where did we go wrong? What happened? And so that's the point of the documentary. And I think that's going to be very good with, you know, Pasadena. You guys are finna rebuild up. And so maybe you guys can glean and take some things that the film can show as far as making your community even stronger once you guys rebuild.
Now, here's the funny thing. So just so you guys know, this was planned way before the fire happened that we were going to premiere this movie during Black History Month. The fire came. I kind of put it on the back burner. I wanted to figure out how to do something, so I decided to do this podcast, and it's the best thing I could have ever done because now we can bring information to people from Altadena. Just so you guys know, this podcast is strictly for Altadena people. I mean, everybody else, I'm glad you're here. But this was something that I started out of a necessity because we don't have news about things happening in Altadena every day. You get CNN has been on our back for the first week or two, MSNBC, all the local news channels. But now that the donation stations have dwindled away, now that everybody thinks that, oh, it's been a couple of months, you should be okay. We're not okay. We're not going to be okay for 2 years, maybe 3. So the whole point of this is I'm dedicated, and so is my team, to make sure that this show comes on Monday through Friday every day for the next 3 years. It's a feat, but we're going to have something like 500 shows by the time the 2 years ends. You know, because we don't do it on the weekends. So that's what, about 252 shows a year. So we have 500 shows we're going to have by next year. And our seasons are going to go every 30 days because the problem is we're moving into phases and we need to keep the people abreast of the phases that we're moving into so they can say, hey, okay, you need to go here. And right now, today, it's streaming on your channel as well as the Greenwood Avenue Project page. So I'm pretty sure Terry is on there checking it out. So the whole thing is, this reason why I think it's so relevant is because we both suffered a fire. You got Greenwood more so in a devastating way. They lost lives, and we lost lives too. Don't let me discredit that. But at the same time, we're focusing on the rebuild. So I wanted to take a chapter out of Greenwood's book and say, hey, how did you guys do it? How long did it take you? You know, and that's what Terry was answering those questions last Wednesday. And then next week, you guys are all going to be on. I'm going to come over to the location where you guys are, and I'm going to sit there as if I'm on location. Hey, it's Ted Koppel. We're here live with the Black Wall Street crew. I'm not going to be like that, but the whole point is this is something relevant that we all should look at. I know it's a shameless plug on my part, but I was already doing this film, and I would really love for you all to see it. The tickets are right here on the blue little link right there. And Karen, do you have any other things you want to talk about before we let you go?
Yeah, so I'm just excited to be able to bring the people from Tulsa to come to California to see Altadena. And it's not that it's exactly the same, but they are able to see devastation as far as a burning of a community, which they were not born or little at that time. So to be able to come and stand on grounds that are, you know, was once populated by African American and see devastation, that may just, you know, it might just bring up some emotions, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
see something that we had, but also hopefully it would trigger something about how powerful we can be if we come together and help Altadena rebuild, you know, and share. I really appreciate you doing this podcast every day because information is power. And, you know, sometimes, you know, it's hard. You have to search different websites in order to find different information. But you're creating a platform where people can come right here and get the information they need about their community. And I hope to eventually that you would bring on people uh, who want to come and shout out their community and share how proud they are of their community, bringing those people on. And so we get to glean and see through their eyes what they loved about their community. And that's what this documentary does. It we get to see through the people that were interviewed in the documentary a glimpse of what Greenwood looked like. You know, we heard about
Mm-hmm.
it, we heard it burn, and we heard stories, but the documentary is going to bring in some firsthand people who walk down the streets and going into different restaurants and things, how it was when they were little. We get to hear their personalized story. And that's what I love about this documentary. It's more than about people's names, you know, because like I said, I was going against some people who had money to produce uh, you know, do a lot of different things with their documentary. And so we just wanted to go into grassroots, just getting just regular people and then allowing them to share their stories. And one of the things that I was so most proud of is to screen that documentary in Tulsa and allow those 50 something people, because I interviewed probably 50 some people, to come
Mm-hmm.
in and for them to see themselves on the screen. Because like I said, there was a lot of people were doing it, and so they were selected as far as who they were allowed to be in their documentary, you know, because of their names and stuff. But we went in
Right.
and just got and I don't want to minimize who they are, but just the regular person who lived there and had something valuable to share about their community. And I love the fact that they were able to see themselves on the screen. That was that right there did my heart great. You know, they, you know, and so I want to personally invite everyone out to come and meet Terry Bacchus, Heather Nash, and Miss Marshall. They're from Tulsa. They're gonna be in California. You get to ask, you get to be a part of a discussion that you be able to ask them questions about how is it right now in Tulsa? What kind of things are they dealing with right now in Tulsa in the community, and how they're trying to continue to fight to preserve this one block of land that they have left for people to be able to come and glean and see what we as African American people once had built. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that right. You guys got to understand that. This, it, and this was in the 1920s. We didn't have technology
That
and
was
all that kind of
before
stuff.
that. It was before that. It got destroyed in 1920. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
built
And
up in
so we look.
1915, 2010.
So look at the technology and the things we have now. Just imagine if we came together as a people, as a community, what we could build.
Oh, that's what we're
We got
doing
to
right
really
now.
get that.
That's what we're doing
We
right
got
now. We're coming together as a community. That's the whole point of this show, is to be a catalyst for people. And you heard her. You heard what she said. She wants to hear from the people. And so we've had a few people come on and talk about their frustrations, but the whole premise of this show is to give you guidance. So the people that like Marcus Betts has come on and told us about what he's going through with the insurance policy process, and he lost 9 homes in the fire. Him and his family. Generations.
Wow.
So the whole thing is people are starting to rely on this because, yes, you know how we do go and research all the websites so that we can bring everything to you. So I'm usually up late at night trying to find out what just popped up. I got Google alerts. I got everything that's to help me bring information to you. But yeah, I'm just glad that you were able to come on, and maybe we'll all be together next Wednesday when we get ready to shoot the show and talk about what's going to happen the next day.
Yes, my husband's family is from Pasadena, the DJonettes, and I think we lost a couple. They lost a couple homes, so we're hoping to invite his family out as well to Monrovia. It's a beautiful movie theater, you guys. It is really, really nice. And so, if you're not doing anything, just come and fellowship. Be intentional about supporting Black-owned, Black documentaries, Black businesses. There's some things that we have to be intentional. And so I know, what's been going on with boycotting Target, and they were just looking at how much money us as Black people contribute, and just
well, look what happened. Look what happened. They did that. They canceled DEI.
Yeah.
The stockholders sued Target.
Yeah.
Because it dropped their bottom line. They're not making any money. So you got to remember that's going to be a lot of fallout when, like for instance, when the Latinos went on strike, the Latino protests, only 900 out of the 4,000 kids came to school.
Wow.
Shows you how many Latinos in school.
Yeah.
And how the school districts rely on attendance to get paid. So
to get paid,
every race has power, but if we combine, it'd be great.
If we combine, it would be great. And so if we focus on rebuilding Altadena, and I just looked at when the election came, how a group of women came together, and we helped Kamala Harris raise millions. So just think, if it was 1 million of us and we gave $10, we could put money towards helping rebuild Altadena. It don't take a lot. You can look at that number and be real big. But if we came together collectively and gave the $10 that we would spend on Starbucks and put it together, imagine what us as a community could do and build and maneuver through this. So I'm just excited. I can't wait to come out there to Southern California. I was okay. Doing the fire, that song, It Never Rains in Southern California. I had to go put in my post. We need the rain.
We didn't want to hear that song. We needed that song last year.
Yes, but we're just excited. Can't wait to see you guys. Don't forget, go buy the tickets. We also have a kind of like a workbook that we created to go along with the film as well, to help teachers if they wanted to show the documentary in school. And it has questions that could help the kids learn about the documentary. So we have a lot of different tools and things. We're going to bring T-shirts and memorabilia to purchase as well at the premiere. So you guys just come on out. Let's come out and just have a great fellowship of fun as far as two communities connecting with each other.
Well, thank you, Karen, so much. I appreciate you being on. And we're going to have a lot of things going on that day, but we're also going to be doing some events over the next few months. And I would love for you to come back out and participate in that, set up. What I didn't tell you guys, and I don't want to go into it, I'm going to wait till she gets off because, this is her passion. So I'm going to take you off the show now. And then I'm going to talk about this. But stay in the green room. Don't go nowhere because I'm going to bring you back in close to the end. All right, so I'm going to remove her, and then I'm going to tell you about this. So she won't interrupt me. But I think it was 6 years ago, she started Can We Talk Sports. It's a podcast that's on YouTube, and it's 5 women who have had their sons go from Pop Warner to qualifying to be in the NFL. And they talk about their struggles, and they talk about when you get that NFL letter, how you got to talk to your kids, and if you brought them up right, you got to make sure they don't walk down to the dealership and get 2 cars on credit, because with that NFL letter, every dealership is going to put a lien on you just so they can get the car off their lot into your hands. Please check her show out. It is the dopest thing you will ever see. She has a lot of guests on there. I got 26 episodes under my belt. She's got about 250, 300 under her belt, if not more. So please check out Can We Talk Sports. And she also has a nonprofit called Can We Play? And it's all about getting the kids going. All this is based out of DeSoto, Texas. And so please check her out, Karen Reese, Can We Talk Sports, and Play nonprofit. So without further ado, I know he's been waiting in the green room, and he's used to that, but not this long. I can see him over there licking his lips, ready to get into the meat and potatoes of it. I'm about to bring on a personal friend of mine I had the pleasure of meeting about 6 years ago through another person. And even though we never really linked up, I've always checked out his podcast and his stories. He's a very great journalist out of Pasadena. I'd like to welcome everybody to tell everyone to welcome James Farr to the show. How you doing, sir? Your mic is muted.
There we go. Good morning, Brian.
Yes,
good morning, brother. Thank you so much for the invitation, and more importantly, thank you for convening this space and showing up, as a heralded voice in the community and really in the trenches, brother, and gathering this information. Makes my job a lot easier because you're down there. But thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So James, just to break it down, James is a journalist. I'll actually let you explain it because I don't really know too much about what you do exactly. All I know is that every time there is a problem in Pasadena with a shooting or holding people accountable, James Farr is putting his life on the line for it. So I want you to go ahead and talk to us about some of the things that you've been doing over the past couple of years, or what you are planning to do in the wake of this fire.
Sure. I mean, I hope I can show up at some good times too, right? And it's just not all...
Oh, you just showed up at one last Saturday for the Black History Festival.
Yeah.
And he was, by the way, he was the MC of the whole thing. So that tells you something. Everybody reached out to him and was like, hey, man, we need James Farr.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I was honored to have that invitation and, just to be in community. But, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a social entrepreneur, and I show up in spaces Black. Like, that's my identity. That's who I am. Those are the things that matter and are most important to me. But how people may be familiar with me and my work is I'm a contributor on KBLA Talk 1580. I also contribute to a publication, the LA Progressive. And then I've been the host and producer of the, proudly say this, award-winning Conversation Live. And I see where you're going with this. I remember my early days. I'm about 400 episodes, a little bit more than that end. And so I certainly have a great deal of appreciation and respect for what you're endeavoring to do. And all I could tell you, brother, is just keep showing up doing it because the information is needed. There's so much misinformation and disinformation out there on resources that could help our community. So been here in Pasadena 25 years, brother.
What's that website? Conversation Live?
Yeah, conversationlive.net is, better to reach me on socials. That website is a brochure. It sits there, but where we active at is in the social space, and people can find me at James Farr live across all social platforms. That's the easiest place to come into contact. When there's some other stuff I want to announce but can't announce yet, probably for another week. But there'll be somewhere else you can hear me a little bit more regularly coming online real soon.
So let me make sure I got this correct. You got the website is conversationlive.net, and they can find you on social at James Farr Live, just like it says on the screen.
Just like it says on the screen, brother. Holla, I will holler back. I'm in the DMs. That's the best way, for someone to reach out to me. You may have a comment about what we're saying, what we're doing over either at the LA Progressive Conversation Live or on KBLA Talk 1580. Let me hear what you're thinking. Tell me you like it, you don't like it, you want to hear more of it. I want to hear from community, because again, collectively, Brian, we're charged with informing our community, both on a macro and a micro level. And so we support one another in getting that information out. So again, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. Anytime. I'm actually going to go on his show, because he's more of the person that asks the questions. He's not used to these questions being asked him. So
I can take it. I know how to deflect. I'm trained on both sides of the mic.
Tell us about Monica Lewinsky.
But shout out to the sister Karen. I mean, you got me. I'm looking forward to seeing your film next week. I produced a couple of films for myself, and one about Michael Zinzin.
So you can hear this.
Yeah, one about Michael Zinzin. I produced the films on different police events and police stories. So I understand your work and your load and why you do it. And I'm looking forward. I'm going to get my ticket today. Y'all all need to meet all of us there next week. It's at the theater over on Myrtle.
Yes.
In Monroe. I see the one with the reclining seats.
Yes.
Say less.
Yes. You're gonna be comfortable. I don't think you're gonna fall asleep though.
Well,
it's gonna be riveting.
I ain't making no promises there.
Well, maybe we'll serve the drinks halfway through the movie. But so yes, thank you guys both for coming on. I appreciate it. This show's not going to go on long because I just only wanted to talk to you two. If you guys got anything you want to plug, let me know. Just do it now. I got the ticket information going across the bottom of the ticker. I got James Farr information on there. If you guys don't, make a screenshot. Buy a ticket. It's only $21.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all go to Starbucks, just like Karen said. I go to Denny's and get my coffee on senior discount, but I'm embracing seniors now. Trust me, I'm going everywhere.
My pawpaw told me how to collect a few cans, so I think I can redeem $21 worth and make it out there. May even have enough for some popcorn afterwards, right?
Right. Well, I appreciate you all coming on, and thank you for doing what you guys do.
I absolutely, and I'd be remiss, Brian, if I didn't further amplify my commitment, as well as the outlets that I'm in partnership with. And as you alluded to it earlier at the top of the hour, the news cycle fades. We knew that the news cycle was going to fade. We knew that the networks were going to parachute into town, and they were going to tell, some stories that are representative of the true essence of what Altadena is, and look like us, and others. It may have gotten kind of conflated into Palisades and many other areas. But the outlets that I am in partnership with are Black-owned outlets and committed, and are assigning me specifically because we want to continue to tell these stories. We are not positioned for erasership. We are poised for continuing to make sure that as long as we have breath, airways, and resources to tell as many of the individual stories. And, what's not really well documented right now, but there's a survey that's out, and you can, I'll send you a link and you can share that with your audience, Brian. Really, folks need to be counted. As folks are separated right now and kind of out of the area, there's not a true accurate count of just how many people are displaced. And part of the reason of that is we don't always participate in the census, right?
Right.
And so the estimate,
you know why? Why you want to know how many people in my house?
Understood, right? But here is an example of why this is important to make sure that data is collected. But per the census, they estimate there's 2.8 people per household, right? Now, good and well that it's a little bit over that in many households, right? Many of the intergenerational households and multi-families, that live together, or even some of the lots in Pasadena. And Sister Karen, I don't know if you've been out here, but some of these lots, will remind you of land in the South or somewhere, right? Like folks got big properties with, compounds on them, multiple units and rental units on it. And not all of those are always captured in that information. So from a sampling of the survey, African Americans are certainly responding consistently with how you would expect them to respond, but way less than what we need the response in and what's reflective of the actual population. Seniors aren't responding because of the digital divide. So we need people like you, Brian, to get the message out to the nieces, the nephews, the younger generation to help. And then the urgency is, it's a pretty comprehensive survey, but the further you get away from the event, the memory fades, right? And so when you aggregate out that sampling and that response, the numbers are staggering. They're estimating between 22 and about 26,000 people that have been displaced. Not so much missing, but displaced.
No, missing
right?
off the census.
Yeah, they're not coming into this survey, and it's important to know what we're advocating for when we're advocating for resources, because the government does not know. The county doesn't know. You could figure out on a phone tree, old school, how Big Mama and them used to do it to get the word out about what the mother's board was doing and all of those things right at church, right? We can be way more effective than what the county is. And I'm not so sure that they actually have a sincere vested interest in restoring back a community that you've known your whole life, that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of for nearly half of my life. And so it's important. Folks can read that at the LA Progressive. It's my last article. We kind of talk about what this space is looking like right now. And there's a link to that survey in there.
Well, what's going to happen is, number one, yes, let's acknowledge, yes, Tony, my phone was ringing because I tell people time and time again, don't call between 10 and 12, but they don't listen. So, that's just my take on that. But one of my goals, because we're going to have a brand new city, is I am going to be part of the volunteer group that's going to take the census when the community gets back to where it needs to be, because we don't know how many people live in homes. We don't know where people are going to move to. Heck, it might be the house that you owned and you're going to build up. You might not live in it anymore. You might move into this house over here because you like the way the sun faces. And your other family member might move over here. So we do need to get that going. I appreciate you even bringing that to light because I didn't even think about it. So that was a good point to bring up. But
something you just said, Brian, and I appreciate you. I'm much more of a forgiveness than a permission person. But I appreciate you giving me permission because as I don't live in Altadena, right? I live a half a mile from the border. My family had to evacuate in the first round of evacuations over here on the east side at about 8:30. And so, coming home, I didn't know what we were coming home to. All my neighbors had left the area. Police had come through our neighborhood. We got a warning. We got the notification to leave now.
Right.
I didn't know what I was coming back to. And so I've wanted to be measured. I have said on air that it's not redeveloping. It's a new city. And it's a new town. And at first, I got some people got on my head about that. How dare you say that? And I just think it's a reframing, but that's not my.
It's not going to be a new city. Remember, and that's what we're dealing with the government right now, the city council and everything, is that they're trying to say new development. It's not a new development. This is a rebuild of a home that burned down several homes. It's not like KB Homes and Toll Brothers bought these parcels and now they're building brand new homes from the ground up. This is a rebuild of homes from the ground up. So that's the reason why the assessor's office is zeroing out the property taxes. One of the reasons why they're doing a lot of things and speeding up permits and things of that nature, because they know this is something that they never experienced before. I'm only focusing on the Altadena. Shout out to, and my heart goes out to the Palisades, the Malibu, and the Hollywood Hills fires, but all those people got money. A lot of people that lived in Altadena, these were legacy homes handed down from their grandmother to their mother to them. A lot of people were only paying the property taxes of $2,000 a year and going, hey, this is great. A lot of people didn't pay insurance. So there's a whole lot of loopholes and hoops that we're going to have to jump in and jump through in order to get those people back acclimated to how they can live again. So, yeah, it's a lot. But I'm only focusing on Altadena.
Well, me too. No one, and I think different with Tulsa, and Black Wall Street, where that was actually the first time in American and only time in American history where the United States military, through the air, what would later become the Air Force, right? Actually dropped bombs on American citizens, right? On sovereign land. That was an intentional murderous white supremacist act, right? We are dealing with, negligence and the perfect storm kind of calamity that brings this forward. The other historical things in play as to why redlining pushed Black folks into one area, right? Then there's some other climate studies that have been done decades and decades ago, long before the redlining went into place, that steered Black folks. There's a reason why the East Side and the Canyon behaved the way that it did with the wind coming over that ridge. That was nothing new. The weather was not an anomaly. You remember back in 2011, we had a windstorm that was 10 times worse than what we had in this situation, right?
We had the same one last year, and it blew my neighbor's tarp from Farrington Palm to Marengo.
Right. So there are a lot of things that factor into where we're in, but I think it's important for people to know, and you and I get to talk to so many different people, and I endeavor to present evidence, fact-based. I don't peddling rumors, kind of what I heard. I'm 2-3 source before I go up with it publicly, right? So I'd like to believe that I've crossed all my T's and dotted my I's, but in that you talk to so many different people and you end up figuring out, well, that ain't true. Well, okay, well, where'd you hear that from, right?
Yeah,
well,
they said.
They is not a source, right?
No.
at least in my world, right? But one of the things I've learned is there is no universal switch. There is no universal kind of lever that can be pulled and a kind of a fix for everybody. There's a dimmer in play. There are people who individual circumstances are going to be just that. So the advice or the situation Karen may be in versus James versus Brian is going to look totally different based on our insurance. Are we leveraged in a home equity line? Is there a reverse mortgage on the home? Did Big Mama ever transfer the deed to somebody else? There's going to be so many different things that are going to come into play. And right now, I think I salute, I love the energy of recovery, but in talking with disaster experts, right, we're much more in a relief space right now. People need to be sheltered, right? People need to set up what will be, short-term, really long-term housing. There's a whole different space of where people want to be. And then I don't trust the government with saying they're going to have all this stuff remediated and removed in a year.
Stay on their heads.
Yeah, it is constantly, it went from 3 years to 2 years to 1 year. Remember, we have elections coming up next year. We have elections coming up in another 3 years, right? So the politicians are always going to tell you something, and it may not always be rooted in truth or evidence, but it is intended for them to, again, continue to have them vote for you. Something else folks need to know, and I hear this, that you either hear people don't know who their government representative is in Altadena. We live in the 5th district of Los Angeles County, right? Mm-hmm. That spans from, Pomona to, I guess that would be our south, right? All the way up into the Antelope Valley, up to Little Rock and Lancaster and Palmdale, and kind of in between. We are this slice of land. It is actually the largest geographical area in Los Angeles County. It is also the second largest populated area for African Americans when we look at the flight to the Inland Empire, right? All of those things come into play. Catherine Barger is your representative. That's who you elected to represent you on the seat of supervisors. I say this with the most sincerity and not within any intention of stepping on anyone's toes or making anyone feel any kind of way. But your Altadena Council has absolutely no power or authority. They cannot release funds. They can't appropriate funds. They are a glamorized advisory body that nowhere else in LA County that's an unincorporated area do they have something kind of ceremonially as an Altadena Town Council. That's something that Supervisor Antonovich set up many, many, many years ago, because Altadenians are very unique. They gonna get on your helmet, right? They gonna hold you accountable. People like Brian gonna show up and say, what's happening, right? And so
every time, I've been to every town hall except for maybe one or two.
I know, you know what I mean? And so it's important to understand exactly who you're talking to, what they can and cannot do, right? The first thing you have to understand is they really can't do anything. But hear you, but hear you. That's the extent of, what their agency is and community. Doesn't mean that they can't be advocates and resources for you, but they can't ask the supervisor to do anything.
Right. Well, that was a lot of information that we needed, and I'm sure everybody watching right now is appreciative as well. So, James, I appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to having you come on a few more times. This show ain't stopping for like 3 years.
Brother, I will come on as often as you extend the invitation, and as long as you have someone so nice as Sister Karen is, and I enjoy what she's talking about, you got me. But I think it's really going to take Brian, us collectively. I'm going to have you on my platform. Like, we have to create this ecosystem of information. I don't know everything. I don't have everything. My mic may be hotter one day and yours may be louder one day, right? but we have to work intentionally and collectively, right, to move this information to our community and to our people.
I'm all for that. Well, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you both. Karen, do you have any parting words you want to talk about? Say anything? Talk about the movie? What you want to talk about? Nothing?
Well, you had muted me, but no, I'm
no,
good.
Because there was some noise in the background.
I'm in the room by myself. That was on you. But
okay, I think we got somebody that wants to come in on here and ask some questions. So James, I'm gonna go ahead and take you out. Thank you for coming on, and we're gonna bring Tony up in the house. Tony, you're looking like a ghost right now. You need some more light in front of you.
Okay, hold on.
I had to tell Karen the same thing because she was looking like one of those secret agents that was undercover at Walmart or something. Yeah, way better.
Yeah.
So, Karen, we're gonna put you on the hot seat.
Hi, Karen.
Oh. Hey, how are you?
I'm well. Nice to meet you, and thank you for being with us today. And we look forward to next week to meeting you and seeing your documentary, your film.
Shoot, I might as well bring James back on. I thought he left. Let's make this a party.
Hey, James.
I'm sorry. Good morning.
James was bringing up, as far as about the properties and things you guys are going to be finding when you rebuild. One of the things you might want to bring is someone that can help people do their titles and survey and making sure, because one of the things I found out with my grandmother's land, we found out somebody's trying to take some land that they didn't even know about. And so especially with older people, having someone that can help them research and make sure there's no liens or somebody have put something on their land that they didn't know about. So these are kind of things that's going to happen once you're rebuilding, because somebody's going to start looking at paperwork and stuff. So having someone that can come in and specialize in that area will help as well, especially with the older people.
That's
so
advice.
We've actually been having that pop up already, where not only people have tried to utilize people's address for FEMA or for the Red Cross, but there are people that have put in for false deeds. And the county assessor's office has been really, really good in going back and double checking, because if it's after this fire, you're trying to do a quick claim or anything else, they're putting freezes on everything. So that's beneficial because they know what could happen after a disaster. And so our county assessor's office has been doing really good. I do have to say this, James, all the information you're giving is great, and I'm super appreciative. And it is a collaborative effort, and that's what we're here for, right? Is to collaborate with whomever to make sure that we are. One thing about Brian and I, we will be online researching everywhere.
All night.
We get all the information, and then we sit on the phone and talk and be laughing about, oh, but look at this, and let me send you this link, and let me send you this, because we want to be accurate. We want to make sure that we are giving people actual data, not just, oh, we heard this, we heard that. One of the things that is in one of the groups now, the Pasadena Facebook page, is, and I've looked into it, but I'm hearing more, and I'm going to continue to look into it, that every home that is rebuilt has to have sprinklers and solar panels. And some people are really upset about the solar because, they're like, that shouldn't be mandated, which I don't think it should either. That's not going to prevent a fire. The sprinklers are a good idea. However, if we don't have water, like we didn't in our hydrants, it doesn't matter if every home has sprinklers, right? So there was,
and just like with the trees, my house was covered with trees, so how was solar going to help me?
Our house has 2 deodoras, 2 50-year-old pines, and 2 oaks. One that's 100 years old and one that's maybe 80 or so years old, and they're good. And they don't have to be cut down. And anybody that knows anything about our California oaks, It's our state tree, and you cannot cut an oak unless an arborist comes and says it's dead. Not it was hit by the fire, because many are scorched by the fire, but they are not dead, and they can't be cut. And they cover the house. And when my parents were trying to get solar before, they were like, there's no point. Your oaks cover the house. It won't get any sun. And so they've got to make some exceptions. So I'm looking into that. I'm trying to figure out, why are you mandating this? I get it. They keep saying they want people to go solar, but I personally have solar on my home for about 1.5 years. And in 2023, they changed the way that people get their solar credit. It's not a credit anymore. Net metering 3.0 is you still get a bill every single month, because I get a bill every month. It used to be like $400. Now it's $200 or something like that. But Edison used to give you all of your credit back. At the end of the year, you might get a bill to, it was called not a one-up, but I forget what it was called, but a true-up. You would get your true-up bill and then pay if there was a difference. But normally people had zero or had a credit. Now, you don't get a true up. You get a bill every month with net metering 3.0, and you only get 75% of what you generate. That's what the CPUC in California did with net metering 3.0. You don't get 100% anymore. Edison steals 75% of what you generate from the sun hitting your panels, and they only give you credit for 25. So to force everybody into an additional fee, an additional cost to rebuild their home, we might have to do a lawsuit about that, because I don't think as part of code, people should be mandated. Solar panels will help with generating, but also if you have a battery, it will help you. If you don't have a battery, and now if you get panels, you have to have battery storage. That's part of what came out in 2023 as well. So to force that cost of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, depending on the size of your system with the panels and a battery. So if people have barely enough to rebuild, how are you going to mandate this additional $20,000 plus cost that they can't rebuild, or their plans will not be approved unless they have that? The sprinklers, cool. Say everybody got to have outdoor sprinklers on the roofs, whatever. But again, if we don't have the water, even in a hydrant, to help battle it, or your pressure is low inside your home, then, a sprinkler, how effective will that actually be? So they've said that, we might waive some of this, and may not. And those are the things that we have to look into. So, Karen, I appreciate you being on here talking about the rebuild, and that you all will be here next week and be able to tour our town. James, thank you, because you are a Pasadenian now, 25 years. And you know what the whole Dina relationship is between Alta and Pasa. And it's important that those voices are out there, whether it has to do with Greenwood or you on KBLA Talk or whoever else. Exactly, Marcus. They are trying to capitalize, and the rates are going to skyrocket, even though they're at fault. And then they'll try to come back and put it on us by saying, now you have to have solar. And I think that should never happen, that it's mandated. But we need the voices, because if we don't have them, like in Tulsa or anywhere else, right? And like you said, James, when the cameras are gone, the major news channels are gone, it's going to take us to keep this alive forever. Some people had never heard of Altadena. Now Altadena's, all of this, right?
Top 5 notice.
Right. It's not for sale. That's what they keep telling me. So
absolutely not.
I got a hard out, Brian. I appreciate this, and I look forward to coming back and Karen, I'm gonna see you next week. Looking forward to seeing your film, and Sister Antoinette, pleasure to meet you in this space, and looking forward to connecting with you and knowing how I can support your collective efforts, because it's my community too. Now what?
Yeah, you'll see Tony too, because she was the first one to buy tickets.
Got you.
So
okay. Well, God bless you all. Thank you so much. I'm gonna bail up out of here.
All right, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Later. So yeah, I mean that brings us to 59 minutes and 24 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and give Karen some last words, if she so pleases, to go ahead and take us out with a bang. So what you want to say?
Well,
The show must go on. The show must go on.
Right. I can't wait. I can't wait to come to Pasadena to see what it is that you guys hold so true, to hear those stories of what it was like when you guys was raised and walking down the street. I can't wait to just us come together and just reminisce. You know, people are waiting for your story, and they can only hear your story from you. You got to tell your story. And so I can't wait to connect with you guys and meet everybody in Pasadena so we can hear the amazing stories.
Well, I don't have anything to say. Tony, you got some parting words? Okay, well then, you know what? We're going to end this bad boy on a light note. Don't forget, y'all, go buy y'all tickets. Stop playing with me. As much as I support everything that I do for people and come and buy tickets and don't even show up and bought the ticket, you could do that too. If you're out of state, buy some tickets. If you're in state and you can't go, buy a ticket and gift it to somebody. I just need people to see this. It's important. And Karen and I have put a lot of work in blood, sweat, and tears, along with Terry and all the rest of the people who were in the movie. Please come check us out. In the meantime, I got Elaine says she bought hers for $15. How you buy yours for $15? For $15,000? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're
talking about. About her solar panels.
Oh, okay. I thought you bought $15,000 worth of tickets. I said we ain't even got that many movie showings. Marcus got his tickets, so yes, please, y'all, buy some tickets. It's only 140 seats. I would like to be able to share with 140 people something that's held dear to my heart, because you know why. Because I'm black, y'all. Anyway, we're going to go off signing off. Peace out. Everybody say peace.
Peace.